Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Early Morning Horror. I'm your host, and I'm hoping that you are all having a wonderful morning. At the time of recording, it is 3:01 a.m., and I have my pot of coffee sitting next to me. Because today we are going to be talking about Midsommar, or I'm going to talk about it. And hopefully you guys, if you are listening, are also talking about it. Because it's a wonderful movie. Again, we are following kind of like the schedule of doing reviews on my favorite A24 films. This is my second favorite movie of all time. Well, horror movie. Uh, Anyways, yeah. Midsommar, which was released July 3rd, 2019. That was the day that I actually turned like 16. And 16-year-old me would not have liked this movie as much as I do now. The movie's not all that scary as much as it is, like, does have disturbing images and has mentions of suicide and, well, not mentions of it, you see it. Like, there's one, two, three, there's like 5 people that commit suicide in that movie, I think. Uh, well, one guy tries to commit suicide and it breaks his legs, and then he gets hit with a hammer until he dies. But yeah, Midsummer is a freaking beautiful movie. Like, the movie has only a couple scenes that are actually dark when it comes to the lighting and everything. But other than that, the movie is pretty bright. Like, it's mainly gorgeous looking nature everywhere. And the set is amazing to look at. The set was actually built. There are videos on the A24 site where you can watch the sped up versions of them building the entire village. And it is insane. I'm talking the buildings look nice and unique. The main sort of the main like giant building that everybody stays in, full of like twin size looking beds, has art all over the walls and the ceiling, and it's really freaking cool. But if you don't know, Midsummer has a very, very sad main character. uh but first off, let's talk about some general things with Midsummer. So, like I said, release date July 3rd, 2019. It was made by Ari Aster. Ari Aster is the same guy that made Hereditary, which, when Hereditary came out, I remember going to theaters and watching it. But I remember how a lot of people were complaining, saying that it was overhyped or that it was overrated, and I'll be honest though, that movie was genuinely scary in theaters. I still really like it. I still really like the scares, the plot, the cast, the characters, everything like that. Same goes for Midsummer. Midsummer is classified as a horror slash mystery movie. The theatrical release is 2 hours and 28 minutes. The director's cut has an added 27 minutes onto that. It is almost 3 hours long. And I could only ask for more. But the IMDb is a 7.1 out of 10. It's got an 83% with Rotten Tomatoes and a 3.8 out of 5 with Letterboxd. The general description is that a couple travel to Sweden to visit their friend's rural hometown for its fabled Midsummer Festival. But what begins as an idyllic retreat quickly devolves into an increasingly violent and bizarre competition at the hands of a pagan cult. Some of the cast involves Florence Pugh playing our main character Danny, who goes through something very tragic we will talk about in a second. You got Jack Rayner playing her boyfriend, Christian. We'll also talk about that. He sucks. And randomly, Will Poulter's in it. And he does a really good job at playing such a dick in that movie. I mean it. That dude was. I couldn't stand him. I could not stand him in that movie. But that's also one of those things that kind of helps me believe it, because these are supposed to be like college kids stuff, and he he just played like an entitled dick so well. All right, pulling up the budget, it says that Midsommar had an estimated production budget of $9 million, produced by A24 and Square Peg. This folk horror film, directed by Ari Aster, was filmed primarily in Hungary and grossed over $48 million worldwide, marking a significant commercial success relative to its modest budget. I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be less than 9 million, but still, I can definitely see it. Like, with everything they were doing, they actually did quite a bit with, like, the special effects, too, when it came to, shoot, what was I thinking of? Whenever it came to, like, the drug type scenes where they were hallucinating and stuff, which was the enjoyable part of the movie. Was kind of like all the college kids being there and then getting high, and then Will Poulter's character is like, "Oh my god, why is it still bright out? Everybody lay down. Who is that? No, no new people, no new people." So freaking funny. But this is another movie that me and my wife watched, and we kind of didn't know what to expect going into it. It was very like a we didn't watch the trailer. I think we may have read the description. I don't know. We watched it like last year or the year before, but uh again, this is A24 has kind of done it where they make movies that aren't that scary but are either disturbing or just kind of shocking almost. But even though this one is not the scariest in my opinion, yeah, I think the scariest one is probably Hereditary or Undertone. This is still like just a really good movie. This movie has so much going for it. And when I say it is a beautiful movie, do not watch the movie and like be superficial about it. Look at stuff. Look at the buildings, look at the setting, look at the grass, look at the sky, look at everything, okay? And try and be like, somebody made that. It is so insane to think about. Like, I cannot believe it. And again, this movie, I want to say, did the Swedish, I don't think they got offended by the movie, because it is about a cult of like pagans in Sweden. And I want to say that they said it was the same as if there was a movie about a cult in the US. It's like, no, we're not offended because this is ridiculous. But all right, let's get into the movie. We're going to talk about it beat for beat ish. I'm going to try to, and I'm going to try to include the main scene that I remember being added to the director's cut, which without that scene, you can watch it and the movie's still great, but with it, it almost made the movie kind of less realistic. But when I say less realistic, is because like the people were not acting like people. That's what I'll say. Okay, so the movie starts and we're introduced to Danny. She Her sister sent her some weird emails, and she is talking to her boyfriend Christian about it. Christian, this boyfriend is so emotionally out of the relationship. Like he does not care about her. He really doesn't. But he's like, this is just your sister. You know that like the more you give her attention, the more she's gonna want and stuff like that. No, it turns out the sister killed her parents and herself, so Danny is now without a sister and without her parents. And Christian is complaining about Danny to his friends, and his friends seem like assholes except for one of them, and he's part of the Swedish cult. His name's Pele. We love Pele. I mean, kind of. If you think about it, he did technically bring his friends to Sweden to get sacrificed. So maybe not love him. Maybe like him. Okay, because like I said, they're all assholes. They suck. I mean, I'm not gonna say that they deserve to die, but they do suck. Definitely like kick in the crotch type territory, punch in the throat territory of asshole. Maybe not death. But anyways, she just lost her parents and her sister. A murder suicide. I think that is one of the worst things that you can go through emotionally, whatever. Like that is such an awful thing. And basically she ends up finding out about this trip to Sweden, and she's like, Christian, well, why when are you doing it? It's like 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks away, and he did not tell her shit about this trip to Sweden. I don't understand that. Okay? Because, I don't think she's going to stop you. I don't think she would try to. But she kind of made it, like, known that she would have appreciated if he told her that he was leaving the country. And then he was like, well, why don't you come with? I was planning it as a surprise. It's like, Christian, you dick. But I remember watching the director's cut with my parents, and my mom just goes, girl, you need to worry about yourself. Okay, you don't need to be going to Sweden with a bunch of men on their trip. She was like, you need to stay and focus on yourself. It was funny. But yep, fast forward a little bit. They're going to Sweden, and then they get to Sweden, and then they get to a field of some sort. Like, they go to this field before they make the hike to the village. But in this field, we find Pele's, like, childhood best friend that he grew up with, and the couple from the UK that he brought. I forgot his name. Uh, and the couple's name. I just know that the guy is from Saltburn. That's the only thing that I remember. But basically, pretty soon after that, they want to start doing some mushrooms. I've never done mushrooms before. I don't know what that's like, but apparently they did a good job at acting high. At least how I would imagine it looks. But Danny's like, I'm gonna sit this one out. I'm just gonna try and settle down before I try anything. And then Christian's like, okay, well, I'm gonna wait too. And then Danny's like, no, 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 you do it. You do it with your friends. I'll do it. I'll do it later or something. And then he was like, well, what if I take it later? And then I think it's Will Poulter's character goes, well, we can't all get high at different times because otherwise the coming down will be different or something like that. Then it shows them sitting in a field and they're like, oh my God, what time is it? And they're like, it's 9 p.m. But it's bright outside. It's like, yeah, you're in Sweden and it is midsummer. It only stays dark for like a few hours, I think. But then he's like, "Oh my god, who is that? Who is that?" And then somebody said, "It's just a guy." And this guy's like just walking, waving, looking as happy as he can be. And Will Poulter just freaking out. And then he's like, "All right, lay down. Everybody else, I need you to lay down." So stupid. But I think Danny had to like use the bathroom or she's getting emotional, something like that, and she goes to go use the bathroom. And then a bunch of people are laughing and she's like, "Oh my god, they're laughing at me." And it was Pelle's friend from the cult that was like, "No, no, no, I'm sure they weren't. They weren't laughing at you. Don't worry." And she goes to the bathroom and has some freaky like vision and comes out, and next thing you know, they're hiking it to this village, and this village, like I said, is gorgeous. Okay, everything about it. I love the costume design, even though it's like mainly a bunch of people wearing white and stuff, and all the buildings and the 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 simple way that the grass looks. I don't know what to tell you, but it looks good. It looks so good. But basically, they get there, they get welcomed, and I don't think they don't notice anything that's like wrong, and they take some more herbal nutrients that are probably also going to keep them at some sort of elevated high, at least enough to where they can function, they can still do stuff. And uh oh, I forgot to mention, I think the whole reason why they're at this place is because of this guy's thesis on like Swedish traditions or something like that, midsummer traditions, festivals, stuff like that. But uh they go put their stuff down. I'm trying to remember this movie as crystal clear as I can, but it's all like just jumbled in there. They go to this group house cuz everybody stays under the same roof. Quite literally, I think it's until you are 35, I think, because they view the human body as having its own set of 4 or 5 seasons, and how the seasons end at 72, because 72 is when your soul starts to deteriorate, because you're not meant to live past that. We will go ahead and get into the next little suicide bit. I shouldn't say suicide bit. Anyways, they have like this sort of lunch of some sort with this really cool looking table. They've just got it in like random angles, but they've got these two people that I guess either turned 72 that day or something like that. But yeah, they are turning 72, and whenever Danny said, "Well, what's after 72?" because they were talking about the seasons of your life, he just did the usual with a weird smile on his neck, the like finger slid over throat motion. But they have this lunch, and then I want to say it's like right after they go out to this quarry looking place where 272-year-old people are at the top of this cliff with a giant rock at the bottom. And before you know it, first person jumps off. It's the woman. She hits the rock, and you see her head like bust open on this rock. And they show the head, and it is so well done. It is so gory. It's so messed up. And then the guy lines up, and people are screaming, "No, no, 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 no!" Well, I say people. Everybody in the cult and village are fine with it. I mean, this is what they know is coming for their whole life. I mean, and then even like the people in the cult seemed confused about people panicking and freaking out. It was weird. Like they just don't understand how people see there's something wrong with this. All they see is that, oh, people's lives ended. Like they were trying to keep their soul better for the afterlife. I mean, then the old guy jumps off. He goes down feet first, and he breaks his legs badly, and he is screaming. And other people in the cult are screaming because in this cult, they all like share pain. If one person feels pain, they all feel pain. If one person feels joy, they all feel joy. Sadness, they're all sad. Like it is very much a weird type of belief, and I think it's bullshit too. I think it's just a show. Either that or these people genuinely believe it, because there were times where it's like, well, these people didn't feel it. Like, but they take this giant, I mean, this really, really big wood hammer, this wooden sledgehammer over, and they hit the old guy in the head, trying to kill him. I think they hit him like 3 times, and the sound that it made is so distinctive. It's like a hollow type of sound. Like it really did kind of sound like hitting. I don't even know but it's a very distinctive type of sound, and it does sound kind of hollow. But after that, everybody is panicking. The couple from the UK are like, "We're fucking leaving," and yeah, the cult is trying to explain. They're like, these people just reached the end of their life. I mean, that's all there is to it. They wanted to do this. They wanted to preserve their life. And everybody's like, well, that's fucked up, like you can't just do that, and it's messed up that you teach that, stuff like that. I don't know. I'm kind of open-minded. Uh there's some freaky religious cult. And you gotta think it's also a different country. You guys are the foreigners there, so yeah, it would seem strange and foreign to you, because we all grew up with the thought that suicide is never the answer. It's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to live and die naturally, die in your sleep if at all possible. But after this, there's some dialogue, and I think this is when Christian, Danny's boyfriend, is like, you know what? I'm actually going to do a thesis on this too. And he tells the guy in the front group saying that this is what I'm going to do my thesis on. And the guy kind of calls him out for having like no ambition and not being original. And it's such like to me, a childish moment, because it's like Christian doesn't know jack shit. You don't have a competition here. Like Christian doesn't know what he's talking about. He didn't even know what this festival meant. He doesn't know anything. But uh so yeah, they kind of have their argument, and then the guy doing the thesis is allowed to see this book that is written in by what the cult call the oracles, which are people made from like incest and have a bunch of uh they're kind of like, what is the word I'm trying to look for? Dysmorphed. Like they've got some stuff going on. But this guy from thesis is like, well, can I take pictures of it? And the elder is like, what, are you crazy? No, no, you may not. You need to leave. You need to leave this church type thing. And then Will Poulter's character, I don't know if this happened right after the other, but Will Poulter's character pissed on a tree. And not just any tree, the tree that is acting as a memorial for their dead. And this one cult guy gets so pissed off and he's like, put that fucking thing away. You pissing on our ancestors and our dead and disrespectful, you Americans, and stuff like that. And Pele is trying to calm the guy down. And this guy's like hysterical. This guy was surprising. I was so glad. And I really wish that he did kick that dude's ass. Will Poulter's ass is what I meant. I really wish he got his ass whooped because he didn't even see that he did something wrong. He's like, "What? I didn't know." He did not say "I'm sorry" once and genuinely mean it. He thinks he is completely innocent. He's like, "The tree's dead, anyways." It's like, oh my fucking god, dude! Just apologize to the man. Not only that, but the bathrooms are public. You could have reached them. Or you could have went out into the woods where you're not in an open field and people can see you. Oh, it really did bother me. But uh I think up next is the, I want to say it's that night that the dude writing the thesis sneaks back into that church to take pictures of the basically their Bible. So he kind of hears a sound and then he turns around and he sees his friend's face, except it's being worn as a mask, and then he gets hit in the head really hard and he's twitching on the ground with blood. So yeah, you can assume he's dead. He is dead. Like I said, these guys are assholes. I don't think that they deserve to die, but getting jumped might have helped. I mean, jumping them in their sleep would have been nice. Hitting them with socks with bars of soap in them, stuff like that. Because these people really do suck. And I think that this movie does it very well of making it to where you don't really like these characters. Up next is the May Queen competition. And Danny's kind of been like slowly doing stuff with this cult. Like earlier, she was cooking up meat pies and all this other sort of stuff. And she was just kind of being one of the women. She was, and they all love her. She's getting along fine. And it's like she is the most emotionally vulnerable one. I feel so bad for her. And this cult, I think, is taking advantage of that. Oh my god, I forgot. I totally forgot. Pele drew a picture for Danny for her birthday, and Christian forgot. Okay, sorry. And Pele tells him too, saying, "You need to get things together, because how are you going to forget your girlfriend of like 4 years? How are you going to forget her birthday?" But yeah, Pele seems to be interested in Danny, and there is this May Queen competition where you have to dance, and last one standing wins May Queen. If you couldn't guess, Danny won. And guess what happened? Freaking Pele laid a big old kiss on her, too. I mean, he is so happy for her. She gets crowned with a flower crown, and they start to wheel her off in this wagon, being pulled by people. I mean, it's a very happy moment for Danny. And Danny, I don't know if this is the drugs, and if she actually did learn how to speak Swedish. I, is it Swedish? Is it no, not Swedish, or is it something else? I'm sorry, I'm not good at languages or anything like that. But Christian is basically getting lured off. He's been he's been kind of like getting groomed to be the guy that's brought in to breed one of the women. And he ends up doing it, and Danny ends up seeing it. Danny is going through a hard time with this, and she is struggling. Like, she is screaming, crying in a bed, and breathing, and all the other women are around her. They're all doing the same thing, too. But Christian takes off running. He gets into this barn, and then we see a blood eagle, which a blood eagle is like dated back to the Viking. Like, it's basically when you are pinned up, your back is exposed, like cut open, and your lungs are pulled out to the outside of your body, and they've got flowers in this dude's eyes. Like, I want to say this is the guy from the UK, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, that happens. Somebody sneaks up on Christian, blows some powder in his face. Christian's out. Next thing we know, there's this bear that we seen earlier in a cage. It's now being gutted. And Christian is put inside this bear. Next thing we know, there's this yellow house that we seen way earlier that kind of nobody was allowed to be around. But they start putting all these dead bodies with different stuff going on with them, like full of straw, full of twigs, stuff like that. And uh, essentially, two people from the cult have to sacrifice themselves as well, which one of them is Pelly's friend. They go in there and then they ask May Queen, Danny, would you like to sacrifice your cheating boyfriend, or would you like to sacrifice this other guy? And she's like, oh, that motherfucker right there. So put Danny in, not Danny, Christian in there. They start lighting it on fire after lying to the two guys from the cult, saying, here you go, this is for the pain. You will feel no pain, or whatever. They start burning, and I'm telling you, they're feeling it. That is for sure. They are feeling that pain. And if I'm not mistaken, they actually did burn this building down. They quite literally built this building just to burn it down for the movie. And then at the end, right before it cuts to credits, Danny smiles. She's wearing this giant freaking dress of flowers, and she smiles. She is now in this cult. And I'm gonna say I give it maybe a month, unless they just keep her kind of high, and she just, I don't know, but she'll probably end up regretting her decisions. Again, with the added 27 minutes, the only stuff I could see were minor bits of dialogue, and the one cult ritual that I said kind of makes this less realistic where they like chain a kid to rocks and are about to toss him in a river because apparently the world isn't satisfied or something. And Danny stops it, and Christian's like, "Well, I just think we need to be open minded." I'm like, they just tried to kill a kid. I don't. This is a little different from when people jumped off cliffs that lived for 72 years. You're talking a kid that's maybe 12 at most, and they're about to kill him. Like they were quite literally swinging this kid with a rock on his chest, and this kid was not scared at all. Like he knew that this was going to be something that he might have to do, and he was fine with it. That's another reason why I'm like, this has to be just a little bit more realistic in the sense that a kid's gonna be scared. Uh, for one, and for two, I think more people would have been terrified at the idea of this cult killing that kid. But Danny stops them, like, no, 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 stop, stop, stop. And I'm guessing this kind of shows that they didn't have to, or they weren't really gonna do it, and they were just showing that this is something that kind of happens. Because the kid gets unshackled and then runs back to his mom. And his mom hugs him. I'm like, okay, yeah, great. I'm glad that you now care about him. But the dialogue as well is added. It's 27 extra minutes. It's almost 3 hours. And I'm going to repeat myself. This movie is just drop dead gorgeous. I love the cast for it. I love the pacing for it because it's almost like, okay, we've got this slow sort of start to the rest of the movie with the cult. Like, okay, we have our beginning with the sister and the parents. Uh, then we get the layout of Christian and the friends, and then we go off to Sweden. To me, that's like when the movie actually kind of. This is the starting line of the actual movie is them going to Sweden. And it's just a slow kind of build up, and then boom, two people jump off a cliff, they die. Oh, Christian's getting period blood in his lemonade and pubic hair in his pie. And there's just something after something after something. It's like every 5 minutes there's something else that happens. And it is just so well done. I love the movie. I love Hereditary too. Ari Aster does a fantastic job with his movies. Something that I read about was during Hereditary, uh, Ari Aster lost someone close to him. He was going through like a death in the family, I think, and he was channeling that emotion into Hereditary. And he did the same thing with Midsommar because he was going through a breakup. But according to him, no character is specifically based off of him and his partner or anything like that. Like people are like, "Is your partner Christian?" And then he's like, "No, no, my partner's not Christian. I was just trying to capture that emotion of the the loss of a relationship and both people knowing that it's over but not accepting it really." And yeah, it was. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I don't know if it's available anywhere. I don't think it is. Uh, if it is available anywhere, it'd probably be HBO Max. HBO Max has quite the A24 collection. That's where I watched The Front Room, Bring Her Back. I think Talk to Me. Uh, quite a few others. But yeah, we've been recording for 39 minutes, 40 seconds, 41, 42, 43. But I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I cannot wait to talk about The Front Room tomorrow. Front Room is another one that I really do like. I'm not gonna say it's my top 3 favorite A24 horror films. It's probably in the top 5, but we'll only see, because I also have not watched The Witch yet. I fully plan on watching that soon because I wanna cover that next week. There's no doubt in my mind that it will be covered by me, at least, because it's got Anya Taylor-Joy from The Menu and from New Mutants. From what I've seen, what I've heard, it's a great movie. It was kind of like the kickoff of the A24 horror films of just being really good. So, yeah. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I cannot wait to see you in the next episode. Bye bye.